The prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. Oh. There's no precedent for what you're proposing. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Unless I've struck a deal with Mr. Wright. The defense may now call forth the next witness? You do realize that this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over.
Can we call the parrot?
Yeah, I want the parrot. The defense calls Damon Gant?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Why don't you tell us what you were up to, buddy? Why don't you tell us? It was him.
It was him. How could you?
How did you know? Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. What does he have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Miss Gant? His wife? Does he have a wife? Is he gay? Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel like we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way, because he hates me.
Uh-huh.
Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor?
True. He does hate you.
Bark, bark, bark. What is this? Some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Worthy. Are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation. You want to play hardball, huh? Mr. Gant, can you just say? Fine. My name is Damon Gant, and I'm the acting chief of police. If I keep doing the gravelly bit to his voice, it's gonna kill me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Now then, Chief Gant, the court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto, what's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean that time when Lana's sister murdered their prosecutor?
Your Honor? He seems so happy.
Badgering the defendant. Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. There are still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all of this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal.
Your Honor? Are you hearing this?
Sure. Take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true?
What?
The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify? Okay, so he's just above the law. Okay. Okay.
Well, yeah, he's the chief of police.
It's like...
He's the police's police.
Oh my god. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. Yeah, what do you mean? Oh yeah, we just slipped up. Yeah, you just got away. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently, she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Yeah, what do you mean? There's so many gaps in this testimony, dude. Is that when Dark was arrested? Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Dark bumped his head. Oh, it must have been very hard for him.
Mm-hmm.
Everything seems pretty clear cut. I'd better hit him hard and fast. Yeah, what do you mean we slipped up? To make a long story short? Well, why don't you make it a long story long? Two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right, but Dark made it to the elevator first. How? How? And why? Why would he? What? He went upstairs and I went downstairs. I guess you could say he got lucky. Wow, that's extremely insensitive. He is dead. What's this about a power outage? Oh, that. The elevator stopped all of a sudden, and I got the shock of my life. Wait, what? Wait. You didn't, like, take the stairs? You took a different elevator? What? Well, probably not as shocked as Neil when that knife went into his heart, though, am I right? Up top! What is wrong with this guy? Neil and that serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together. And what, because of what he claims to be her tampering, you found the body near Lana's desk. That's right. I think you said earlier it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor. Can we arrest the suit of armor? Anyway, what was with that? The forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived in your office. That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt. But moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable no matter what the circumstances. Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you'd be better off staring off the court record. Always the smooth talker. But which piece of evidence ties Gant to the forgery? Lana did admit to forging evidence, but that can't be the whole truth.
No, like, that's gotta be it.
You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this list, for example. Well, I didn't mean to do that. It was discovered in your desk. Not only that, but a piece of this jar that was sitting in your office was found in your safe. You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in this illegal investigation. What's the meaning of this? Oh, here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So you admit to it then that you were involved in the forgery? Who, me? What do you mean, you? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know? This dude's really pulling the, like, nah, it was you. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Righto? Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Yeah, except you, apparently.
Yeah. He's already been fired. What are you talking
his
about?
due punishment. No, he's talking about being killed.
Oh, right.
Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work.
Poor guy.
In light of the detective's presence, let's give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence in your office and their relation to the forgery that took place on the crime scene. Kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together. Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list? For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way.
Really? Really?
When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I'm the chief of police, right? There will be consequences. Indeed, I believe I will press charges so you won't make that same mistake again. Oh, could you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today, we're kind of in the middle of something. In return, though, I know, that place, right? What? Huh? What are they talking about? Huh? That place? What place? Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me in any way. Really? At the very least, there is one very large benefit you've reaped from all this. Oh, I wasn't aware. What is the benefit? That would, of course, be the position you have, Chief of Police. The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That is in itself a sufficient motive. Oh, that's a good one. Huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true? Yes, he was going to be made chief anyway. Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might you might wind up being the one pointed at. There's only one possible motive for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I.
Okay. Literally the devil.
There, it's out in the open now. Would you mind if I change my testimony a little? By all means, please do. I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. Well, that's sinister. Oh, I would totally help somebody if there was something in it for me. Nothing in it for you. Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you'd better think again. Oh, does it literally say? Oh, he's Damon Gant. Like, he is a demon.
Oh, yeah.
If she said, help me cover this up, he says, what's in it for me? She replies, something. Let's just see where this goes. You might not help anyone out for their sake, but if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. It appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend a hand. Not what I mean. Who is this person who may have helped forge evidence? He must have wanted to be able to blackmail the person he helped.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think it's obvious. It's gotta be Lana, right?
Probably.
I feel like that's the only scenario where she would take care of a body.
I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Skye fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister? And as for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to.
To have full control over her.
Self-profit. What do you mean? Well, yeah, duh. Yeah, what? Yeah, I knew that. Sorry, my brain's just slow. Like,
No,
we
cool.
deduced that a long time ago. Like, Lana Skye was appointed chief prosecutor to the prosecutor's office. The person who arranged this job change was you. But how would he profit from all this? He would be able to use the chief prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. You mean to tell me that despite the chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets?
Are you Nobody liked
Oh.
that.
I get it. Nobody liked that, literally. You assisted Lana Sky in forging evidence. Your motive to appoint her as chief prosecutor so you could control her. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something.
Hypothetically.
Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing?
Well, no, of course not.
Yeah, obviously
Moron?
she's not specifically for that reason. Without any proof, this all amounts to nothing, to more mere conjecture. Oh, something? Unless that is also what happened in this incident. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he was, yeah.
There you go.
Why else would she stab the body? Of course I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. Worthy, you'd better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Just what do you mean? Thankfully, finally he says something. What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved with the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. Oh, this is such a startling revelation. Holy, chill out, bro. You can't be serious. This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in their entire law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder? Impossible. No, it's not. Why would that be impossible? What, just because he's in a position of power?
Yeah, that would make it more possible.
I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easier to understand language. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. That's right, we're on the same team.
Heck yeah.
That's right, there's an us now. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man.
Heck yeah.
The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. Alright then. Better be good. But try to think back to what happened in the evidence room 4 days ago. Yeah. Oh, right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ezra.
He entered the... Not that. He entered the room.
Mm-hmm.
You should put his name on there, now that we know that's who it is. This is the ID card list. It's the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list who we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 7. I'm sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number. It's your number. How do you know? The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. It's 777777. Same as the ID card on the list. Chief Gant.
Good one.
Ooh. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime.
Your Honor, please turn that off.
No. Are you all in on this? Nothing. The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulations, and I will demand that Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. So you admit it. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. What about it? I'm chief of police. Whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom, what's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. When you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be there with you that day, would he? Oh my god, is that the real scene of the crime? Holy crap.
I freaking knew it. He did actually die in that room.
Oh my god. Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. There was a huge blood stain on the floor. You hadn't seen him in days? Chief Gant, I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with him because that's when you gave him the award. He needed to enter the evidence room on that day because he was asked to do evidence transferal.
Yes.
And so he had to go with somebody because his ID was stolen. Oh. Detective Goodman took the form to you. Then you accompanied the detective to the evidence room because he didn't have an ID to use to enter the room. And that's when you killed him.
No, wait. It's because it was deleted, right?
Yeah, it must have been, yeah. He could certainly do that really easily. There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on, let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the chief of police, murdered poor Goodman.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, yeah,
Confession.
actually, yeah. But wait, Chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room.
Judge?
He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mentioned it, I believe I might have done something of the sort. Now that you mention it. That's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. Holy crap.
Oh, holy moly.
You didn't. The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. At the time of the murder, you contacted Lana, the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright. The victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot, in my car, might I add. Not cool, guys. How did he manage to move it there? I was actually just thinking about that, and I'm not sure. I was at the police department the entire day, you know. Everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. You think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey you, take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. You left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to prosecutor's office. All this time I thought it was a useless clue just taking up space. I forgot. Hold on. Maybe I'll recognize it when I see it. The blue badger carried the dead body. I mean,
Right away, Gant.
It has wheels, doesn't it? I mean, I kind of want to try. Maybe I'll use this later to move. Holy! No. And I'll help you dispose of it. What is wrong with you people? Wait. What's that? A screwdriver. What does that have to do with this case? Mr. Edgeworth, think back to the day of the crime. What is a screwdriver doing here? It's here because Edgeworth wasn't there. He said, you need to come get this evidence and take it back to your place. So Edgeworth shows up. He sneaks it into the trunk. And then that's the transport mechanism. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office, which wouldn't make sense. Oh my gosh. On the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. After the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office, and he wouldn't have if it wasn't for that.
Mm-hmm.
You mean The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. It's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. Yeah, once again, a thing I theorized earlier. I thought they meant just like, how did he get it down the stairs without anybody noticing?
Right.
Which I
Literally,
still don't
like,
know.
how
No,
did
no.
he move the body? Like, if it, like,
Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Unless, of course, you have another explanation. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. Transport the body to your accomplice. What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed into the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It is a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Again, please say something. I believe your time's up. My time's up? Sorry, Raito, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're going to make it in time for the early bird special. The cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. That is not a right to casually be invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. So you're going to just run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman, that's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, you think I had Lana dispose of the body. If so, then show your proof and get it over with. Well, she told us as such. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Do you have any concrete proof that Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Skye dispose of the body? Just are you showing evidence I'm not even sure of myself? In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations. Oh, never mind. What? Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, Righto. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. You know, luck is not usually a factor in court. He just leaves.
Wow.
I warned you earlier. This is an affront to a senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency. Oh, hold on. Lady Luck, maybe we should have a word with her. What do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else, one more witness, who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. It's me. The defense is the one calling witnesses today.
Heck yeah, here we go.
She may not be willing to tell the truth. Yeah, because, she would know. Like, she was doing it.
She's got nothing to hold her back anymore.
Was Lana Skye? That was quite a smack sound. She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21st. Her task, to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth. Prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Court will now take its final recess for the day. Holy moly. Hold on. Huh? Oh, he's back. Listen good, Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. Your Honor. Your Honor. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder.
That's already gonna happen.
Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. All right, then. Okay, bye, I'm off to lunch. It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Let's go. Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside. To force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do. She became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. Yeah, it's society's fault. No, I blame the power outage, personally. I blame PG&E for this one. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? Seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken prosecutor award knife was stuck in the victim's body. What? Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. Did that not actually happen? Hold on. What? What's happening? The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark. Something like that. If this is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. That was lying on the floor a little distance away. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies. When you found the scene like this, what did you do? This is what everything boils down to. Oh, this is new. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound. Huh? Was it not broken when... Why did you move the body? When you showed up on the scene, where was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was by Chief Gant's desk. The body was found by your desk. Why did you move it? For the reason that is simple. Occam's razor. The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. That wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. When you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened.
Would it?
Yeah, everybody would have known that this exact scenario would go down. Neil Marshall was dead, and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have broken during their struggle. But then he wrote on it. He wasn't dead immediately. Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. I have a feeling there's more to it than that.
How could it have shattered if he wrote on it? She broke it. She had to have broken it herself.
What? Hold on. Wait. If you look at the jar... I thought about that earlier and I disregarded that thought, and I wish I didn't. Miss Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. Me? A contradiction in my testimony? It's more likely than you think. You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan."
Mm-hmm.
That's right. You have a problem with that. It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood. The prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not have been broken. It would appear more information is needed in regards to this jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here. Chief Prosecutor, is she going to get off scot-free? No way. Seems you are as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we are headed. What? Tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. I immediately noticed the blood traces in the jar, but it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. No, that's incorrect. Fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. You missed one. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. Okay, so the obvious contradiction is obvious. You're the one who wiped away the message in blood. I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Wow. I mean, can I just immediately own you with facts and logic? You did not get them all. You didn't. Owned. I believe this jar conceals a truth even you are unaware of. We found the final piece of the jar in Chief Gant's safe. But how? She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it. The witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off them, which only leaves us with one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first person to show up at the scene. Ooh, what a stinger. Chief Gant got there before you. Couldn't the defendant simply have missed a piece? No. There's no way. I'm afraid that's unlikely. Pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. Ace Attorney. Everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Can you believe that? Can you?
Objection. Irrelevant.
Literally. We run the show now. When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. Hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant. At the time, he was looking for Dark downstairs. The question is if he did... Yeah, shut up.
Yeah.
If he did arrive there first, why did he hide that fact for 2 years? I'm trying to talk here. Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? No. Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. That's not how this works. I wish he did like the, you know, that would be great. Dim and Gant arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar and purposefully hid one of the broken pieces. Question: what is this action called? Fabrication of evidence. Why would he do that? And he can't testify about it. He's disallowed. In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. But she didn't actually, because if what had happened, if what we speculated happened actually happened, they would have broken the jar too.
Mm-hmm.
Which means something else happened. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark. Meanwhile, he had a loaded bullet against her the whole time. Holy owned. Oh my god. Get owned. And therein lies the reason why Miss Sky became the chief's puppet. Holy moly. No, I did it on my own. She literally drew blood from her own finger biting on it. Oh my god. Stop trying to protect the chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients. Hey, imagine that coming from my own client. Guess you do seem like the type who likes to twist the truth. What? Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap? Something wrong, Mr. Wright? Yeah, because, like, why would he keep... Because, like, it also seems like a loaded bullet against himself.
Yeah. So the fact is he was there first, so he could have planted the fact of what we think happened currently.
Yeah, he made it look like that's what happened with the armor. Holy. Right? We're on, like, so many meta layers right now. What do you mean? So you do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright? No, I don't. Please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie.
Exactly. Here it goes.
I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall, but it doesn't mean you knocked him in the armor. She testified that the frickin' prosecutor's sword was in him.
It's exactly an Edgeworth scenario.
Holy. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. Huh? This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. Ignore all that other stuff about me lying. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on the suit of armor's sword. Hey, I thought we were gonna stop telling lies. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it all really was a fabrication, Emma might be innocent. Hold on. He moved the body to the spear. Hold on. He moved it there, then she moved it there. This is crazy. Oh. You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. What? I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. What, evidence law? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. You gave me a book. Is this another you didn't look at the back situation? Unbelievable. I looked at the book. I don't remember receiving a picture like that. She really does have faith in you. Is there really? Oh, now I can look at it. Okay. Duck. You open it now? Unbelievable. Holy smokes. Wow, you had a bad time. This is the actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this. Because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I rearranged everything. Holy smokes. Mr. Wright! That piece cut out from his vet. Oh, it's the cloth. The cloth that we found in the safe. With your handprint on it. What if he put that on that cloth and then saved the cloth to be used as a loaded bullet against them? Wholly owned. Whoever's fingerprints those are must be the real murderer. We gotta have an aside real quick. But they're yours. Why are your lips all turning all purple? No, we're still in his trap. You don't understand. We're still in it's a loaded bullet. It would be like, come on, it's way too clear of a print. If you pushed him, it would not have left that hard of a handprint. And then also he wouldn't keep it for himself. You crazy, crazy man. This guy's where I'm playing like 8D chess right now.
Yeah.
This is so cool. When I arrived, I found it impaled on the sword. I didn't even get to do anything. What? Oh no, no, you can't testify. You can't. Come on now. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen. What, now you want to make me out as the bad guy too? He knows he's over. He knows he's over. I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense. No, you can't. I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own
Holy moly.
Oh my god.
Oh, wow.
Holy. So what? You think I'm worried? Yeah, you look like you got struck by lightning. Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements because I already left my loaded bullet in my safe. 2 of them, actually. What do you mean? The evidence will do all the talking for me. Yes, he knows what he did. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Wait, you mean you have some conclusive evidence? No, but someone does. So, what's your excuse, Raito? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? He wants me to show it so bad. Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death. Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt. No, because it literally can't be that. It literally can't be that. You crazy guy. You made up this whole crime scene. Both of those, I bet you wrote the blood on the vase too. Because he would have died pretty fast, I think. How was he actually killed? Oh my god. Is this true, Mr. Wright? No, don't. I show the evidence now. I'm sure to be made out as the murderer. Yeah, how do we circumvent this? If you try to conceal anything, you'll be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries. Okay, well then we'll just not show it. I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. You lie. You opened my safe. I know you took what was inside. Hold on. Evidence law number 2. I can't present it if it's not relevant to the case. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it, that's why you won't present it. Can't you figure it out? He's like, no, look what's in my safe. No. You mean you had this in your safe? But you have been concealing evidence.
Yeah, there you go.
It's going to be the biggest scandal in the police department. Holy, he self-reported? Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Raito. I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. Yeah, but you have forfeited your right to testify. I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day, huh? It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana. Excuse me?
Hold up. Wait, is he?
Huh?
Is he? What's happening?
You really were manipulating her. I knew Lana. if I made it look like the blame lay with her sister, that when she saw the scene she would ask me for my aid, I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had her plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room. Okay, but you didn't explain how he actually died, though. Is that what he's going for? He's going for, like, well, it wasn't me.
Maybe.
Oh, that's true, but...
But I did it to protect.
Mm-hmm.
But then we
Yeah.
can use his previous statement.
When I tampered with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the crime scene, mind you. But why? For insurance, of course. I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anybody blame me for a murder that girl committed.
Yeah.
We were calculating how far ahead while forging the evidence. What do you take me for, a fool? I didn't make the police chief by dumb luck. I'm good at my job. See this jar fragment? I hid the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood off all the pieces. You fabricated all the evidence. Well, so you didn't fabricate the message on the jar, too. Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? So I kept one more for insurance, which I also fabricated. Okay, now I have to show it, I think. You admit that you were hiding the cloth you cut off the victim's vest in your suitcase. I didn't want to have to do all that, you know, being chief and all, but it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer. Just a moment ago, you didn't say you had any evidence you could present because I hadn't proven connection. You should have shown it then before it was too late. Yes, die. Now I can show the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can show it. I have it. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest? Yeah, he's self-incriminating.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, at least. Yeah, you finally brought it out into the open. The handprint on this piece of cloth. Immediately be sent to the lab for analysis. There must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly. You mean? It could not have been a forged. It must have been authentic, conclusive evidence. No. No. It could easily have been forged. What? You're slow on the uptake as ever, Worthy. Think about it. Rido had all this time to present this evidence, yet he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be? You mean you already know? You know who's are on that? Well, that's pretty incriminating. How would he know that?
Yeah.
He couldn't know that. You've self-reported. You've self-reported. You're going to jail forever. It should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. The person these belong to is Detective Dick Gumshoe. Hey, Paul, what's going on here? Oh, God, it's my hand. Hey, let go. Yeah. Emma? What? They're mine? Why didn't you tell me? Kids, you're a little girl. You can't know these things. You gotta leave it up to boys, am I right?
Killing is only for men.
You're really something, Rido. Mm-hmm. It's for men, Worthy. You hated it, and you still tried to pin the murder on me. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death. Mm-mm-mm. You monster. What? You knew whose fingerprints those were all along, yet you acted like she really didn't. That's because she didn't. Miss Sky, it's not over yet. We're not done. You gotta wait your turn. I'm afraid this trial is over. Your whole career is over. You purposefully concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense.
Oh, you don't say.
Looking forward to pressing charges. I'll have your badge, boy. No, I show that to everybody. You can't have that. Cat got your tongue. Aren't you going to tell us how it feels to be the one single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer? Before I do that, there's just one little thing I gotta clear up. Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? Well, Chief Gant, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask? It was Emma Skye. No. I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? What is this fool babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction, one that proves who the real killer is. This piece of cloth, what could it possibly contradict? Your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold the piece of evidence that contradicts the cloth. Wait, I don't know. If it was cut, he would have had to cut it. She was unconscious.
True.
Picture. Oh, yeah. What exactly is this supposed to be? Well, this is the picture that Miss Skye took. See where the piece of his vest was cut out? His shirt is showing underneath. Hard to make out with all the blood. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. But the cloth isn't. Oh. But the piece of cloth. I straight up, I didn't think of it. But the cloth isn't. Blood poured out of his mouth. A piece of cloth. It's spotless. Since Emma Skye's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However,
I see.
Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at the time. This is nonsense. Now then, Chief Kent, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. And then he can cut it out and then place it on there, killing him. Holy smokes. Straight up killed that guy. Wow. Picked up the unconscious prosecutor and impaled him on the armor's sword. Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood, a jar that they then broke on purpose to leave behind a clue and make Lana believe her sister did it. Remember what you admitted only moments ago? That you personally cut out this bloodless piece of the victim's vest? Ironic, isn't it? For the very act of creating insurance, you have proved that you were the actual murderer. Wholly owned. Okay, but that was the murder 2 years ago.
He's just a wet dog.
I was gonna say the same thing. Oh, that was close. You almost had me. Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. What do you mean? Oh, you see the piece of cloth is illegal evidence.
I see.
What do you mean by that?
Good one,
Evidence
buddy.
law. Evidence law. Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Aji. He concealed that piece of cloth because of evidence law. Evidence law. Let me present evidence law. That's not fair. Ooh. Did you actually think you could best me in court? I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal. Come on, buddy. Present evidence law. Evidence law. Evidence law. The time my trap guard.
He actually read up.
I did not illegally conceal this piece of cloth. It was legal. I admit I refused to present it. So the evidence is illegal. Mm-mm. No, it isn't. It's not that I didn't present it then. It's that I couldn't. There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence. Have you heard of evidence law? No, don't listen to his lies. He's nothing but a coward. You can't really believe it. There's only one issue left to be resolved. Is this evidence legal or not? You refuse to present the evidence. If you can, I understand. This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. I've done my homework too, Chief. A couple court cases too late, but I did do it.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth and nothing more. It's written right here in the book with the little duck on it. Second rule of evidence law. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. I found this evidence myself inside your safe. Goes without saying, I did not have approval from the police department. Rule 2, unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And here is the crux of the matter. You see, at the time, it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident. Yeah, because we didn't have the picture yet.
Yeah.
As you can recall, when was that picture presented? No. He's right. Beginning of today's trial. Piece of cloth was still meaningless. This is your fault. You yourself confessed to a certain truth. On the day of the crime, you personally cut this out of his vest? Yes. It would be so sad. No. As conclusive evidence. You, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth. The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. The real murderer. The only person who that could be is you. No, I'm cool with it, actually. Oh, dude's gonna laugh himself to death. Oh my god, he's going down. I knew I should have gotten rid of him. Holy crap. That good-for-nothing scum. For 2 years, he's been snooping around the department trying to get something on me. Oh, let's go. Secret hero. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me. Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty. You wanted to reinvestigate the case. You recruited Angel Star and convinced Bruce Goodman. Detective Goodman? Yeah, that's right. If the evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance. You gotta help me. Goodman turned him down as he ought to. Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit. He stole Goodman's ID and tried to take the evidence. Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room, and all of a sudden he decided to speak out. Oh? What are you talking about, Goodman? Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There's too many questions left unanswered. He opened his evidence locker and... yeah, that's right, yeah. It's nice to tie up all these tiny little loose threads. And as he was taking the evidence out, he said, "It's not too late. I'm going to hand all this over to Marshall." Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken back by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up SL9. That's when I saw it. That accursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out. Doing so would have only led to making more blood, making it near impossible to hide your crime. Even so, the blood was just pouring out. It was awesome. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worrying so much about the floor, I didn't realize my fatal mistake. The bloody handprint, Detective Gumshoe's locker, the one where we couldn't get the prints from it because you wear gloves. I used to be known as the crime computer, but everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. Gosh, it's really scary to commit a crime, you know that? I had no business doing any of it. And you put the body in my car. I'm sorry, I couldn't think of any other way to move. No, you're not sorry. You hate him. You want to pin it on him. I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will. Leaving the prosecution's car aside, how could you get Miss Sky involved in all this? Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out. You took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker. I felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take. You left the jar fragments in the glove. Yeah. Looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. I'm kind of bad at it. And that's when the Blue Badger stopped me. They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well. Much to my dismay. Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that. Tell me, Worthy, why do you stand in court? Me? You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. He's literally doing it.
Yes, except you've killed.
Yeah. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. You're crazy. Tell me you have no faith in the judicial system without telling me you have no faith in the judicial system.
Mm-hmm.
Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, gee. What? Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date, huh? Sorry, old friend. I'm sorry too, Damon Gant. I knew you as you used to be long ago. You were once a fine investigator and an example for others on the force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person. Those days are gone now, Aji. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Raito here, and Worthy. These two around you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sounds of a new beginning. You killed people.
And you did so much chess in the process.
You killed two people. There are two things I want you to understand. Yes? First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon Gant betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Sky, you no longer have any reason to keep silent. You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years, for the time I had helped me forge evidence up until today. Seems the questions raised in this trial have been answered. Sorry, Miss Sky. Couldn't get you out of all your trouble. Hey, guess what? Emma didn't kill anybody.
True.
My, what high standards you have for a rookie. can see why Mia thought so highly of you. She would tell me all about it when we were hanging out. Who knows, a few years from now you might just make it to the top. Yippee.
Hooray.
I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. Miss Sky, with all due respect, I let Edgeworth do the topping. Hey yo!
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's a good end note.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Thanks for coming to see me off. Can't believe I'm going to Europe. Ugh. I mean, thank you, Mr. Wright. You do so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be all right. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book. That's sweet. Oh, you're gonna make me do this? Oh.
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 Oh, that's so cute.
So freaking cute.